Even though we've removed it from our website, here at Coca-Cola we still support BLM. Black lives matter, but some matter a little less than others.
Yes, if it isn't the consequences of our own actions, as Coca-Cola now has been under some serious fire, not for, changing the flavor to New Coke 2.0, but their continued support of, BLM apparently. And as many people know, BLM as an organization is a complete fraud, a money laundering operation where Patrisse Cullors and others enrich themselves at the expense of racially guilty white women and super huge mega corporations. Well, it looks like the woke backfire has been continuing as Coca-Cola has now dropped not only all financial support, but all mentions of BLM from their website. Curious curious why they had a change of heart. Of course, that's why I started a coffee company called Coffee Brand Coffee. We sell coffee, tea, and cocoa. We've got K-Cups. We've got 25 different types of coffee, all light to dark roast. We've got decaf, double calf, delicious flavors like strawberries and cream, blueberry cobbler, orange creamsicle, s'mores. We've got fall flavors like pumpkin pie, spiked jack-o'-lantern, and more. You can save and support the channel by going to Coffee Brand Coffee and using promo code TheQuartering to save today. Coca-Cola under pressure over alleged BLM donation. So now we see in Newsweek, conservatives are criticizing Coca-Cola for allegedly donating to BLM Global Network Foundation, which recently came under heavy criticism when at least one chapter shared a celebration of the so-called paragliding freedom fighters who apparently took it out on innocent, unarmed civilians to be celebrated by BLM. Of course, we know, posting to X, formerly Twitter, the Conservative Political Action Conference slammed the corporation for supposedly donating money to BLM and other radical left organizations. Newsweek was unable to verify that Coca-Cola did donate to BLM. Hey, Coca-Cola, you donated $4 million to Black Lives Matter, Inc., along with other radical left groups. They wrote, the claims caused outrage among CPAC followers, with Stephen Merrick declaring hashtag boycott Coke. We demand a response. Their secret formula contains blood. Time to Bud Light them, commented Eric. Conservatives boycotted the beer brand in April. Of course, boycott Bud Light. We already know that. However, interestingly enough, Coca-Cola has now quietly scrubbed all references to BLM from their website. The Coca-Cola company quietly removed references to its financial support of BLM from its official website after the controversial group expressed support for what happened to innocent civilians. BLM Chicago chapter sparked outrage with a now deleted post on Twitter showing the paraglider, saying, "I stand with them, we know this." Senator Ted Cruz blasted Coca-Cola on his podcast last week, particularly after the soft drink touted its charitable donations to BLM on the company's official website. One of Coca-Cola's brands, Sprite, gave $500,000 to BLM's global network as part of its, quote, fight for racial justice. Caught red-handed, Coca-Cola deletes its support for BLM. One screenshot you can see in this here. One screenshot is of Coca-Cola's website before BLM supported them. They supported their freedom fighters. The other is from this morning. Editing your website is not enough. Americans demand an apology. I mean, you look at this. They deleted the fact that they gave them money. So either you gave them money or you didn't. I mean, that's the interesting thing. You go here and then you see they just drop that sentence. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting how that works? Now, I don't think Coca-Cola should get away with this. I think you got all the mileage off donating to them in the first place, right? You got all those delicious likes and retweets from woke leftists because you gave them a bunch of money at some point. Well, now is the time that you stand true and stand by the have the strength of your convictions. You don't get to do this. Now it's time for conservatives to make a different choice. By the way, drinking soda is terrible anyway. On Verdict, we name names and blast corporate America for standing with Marxists who celebrated what happened that day. Cruz said on X on Thursday. The Post saw a comment from Coca-Cola and BLM. Of course they would. Now, remember why the Bud Light boycott in and of itself was so effective. The Bud Light boycott worked because there's a million other cheap options for a completely unrequired beverage. And that's exactly the same case with soda, right? That's exactly the same case with soda. And the fact that they just deleted this, I don't think that that's enough. Coca-Cola quietly deletes language supporting BLM. Isn't that funny? It wasn't all the the terrible burning downs of cities. Coca-Cola was fine when they were burning down cities in America. You see, after the October 18th episode of The Verdict with Ted Cruz, Coca-Cola, which owns Sprite, deleted its language on its website the following morning. Fortune 500 companies like Amazon, Coca-Cola, Sprite, DoorDash, Dropbox, Warner Brothers, and Microsoft have all donated to BLM. On Verdict, we name names and blast corporate America for standing with Marxists who celebrated what happened that day, Ted Cruz said on a post on X on Thursday. For every corporate donor who sent millions to BLM, including Amazon, Apple, BlackRock, Bank of America, do you regret supporting such virulently anti-Semitic organizations? Cruz said on Wednesday's episode of the podcast. Well, no, it's obvious they don't. It's obvious they don't regret that. This is what happens when companies have to dive into getting political. Now, will people make the switch? Will people make the switch of Coca-Cola? I think they would have to double or triple down at this point. But we're also entering kind of a new era. We're entering this new, we're seeing the true power. A lot of people talk about, how many positions of power Jewish folks are in. Well, they are in positions of power, just like, all types of people. But what we're seeing now is a lot of prominent Jewish people are stepping up and, flexing against companies and individuals that are speaking out or supporting what happened to them. Do you support Black Lives Matter's Marxist agenda, supporting Hamas? Are you anti-Semites? Do you support that we need to end Israel, he questioned. And on October 11th, in response to backlash over its post, BLM said in a statement, yesterday we sent out messages that we weren't proud of. We stand with Palestine and the people who will do what they must do to live free. Our hearts are with the grieving mothers, those rescuing babies from rubble, and who are in danger of being wiped out completely. So they still didn't really, remove that. The idea that they removed financial support, I'm not sure is enough because, they just removed mention of financial support. They actually didn't remove the financial support. So maybe they did, maybe they dropped that. But what you're seeing now is a lot of these companies are facing quite a bit of backlash. You see on Twitter, blowback, Coca-Cola quietly removes BLM support on its website. New York Post, I stopped buying any Coke products when I learned what they were teaching new white employees to be less white so as to not offend anybody. Coke has gone woke for a very long time. In case you're new here, Coke was woke to BLM until they saw, support the bad guys here. But how could they have missed that? That's a fair question. This is pretty sad, pretty weak tit by Coke. If you're going to get woke, you got to stand by it. This is just like all these countless organizations that put pride flags up all over everything on their websites, on their social media, and then remove it the second the Pride Month is over, the second they can stop making money off of it. I think, again, you see posts like this. If you buy a Coca-Cola product, you're directly supporting BLM. It's that simple. They're taking their profits and sending a large portion and sending it to BLM. Well, yeah. I mean, that's true. And we know what BLM supports. You see Ted Cruz calling out Coca-Cola on his podcast this week for supporting BLM. It's going to be interesting. We're seeing a lot of mask off type scenarios, events happening here in the United States, a lot of blowback. And, if you're going to support a cause, then you should support it when things get tough. It's curious that corporations always seem to wither away.